Good morning. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure if you could hear me or not. Yes. Well, welcome to the next 4 weeks of your growth and your success. Um, do you have your mic is mute? Let me see. There you
Oh,
go.
can you hear me?
I
Can you
can.
hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. I am at work, so I can't be as vocal as I'd like.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
All right.
So I'm just going to, there are a few more that are going to be joining us at some point. Some will be on camera, some won't be on camera. But really, just want to, well, first of all, start off and thank you for this opportunity to lead you through what I believe are some really basic fundamental things as relates to success in real estate. I've been doing a portion of this, what I refer to as this productivity boot camp. I've been doing it in bits and pieces, and this is a one component of the um, the productivity boot camp. Part of what we're going to do over the next 4 weeks together is we're going to go through, looking at what the champions diet, what is a champion's diet. We're going to talk about the weekly Make It Happen. That's an intense productivity sheet where you're setting, planning. This is what I plan to do, and this is what I've actually done. So it's very detailed, very intense, oriented. We'll talk a little bit on how to work with for sale by owners, how to work with expired properties. We'll look at some advanced, what I refer to as skill building scripts to close deals. What I'm finding is as I do this sales training is a number of sales professionals, for whatever reason, they're not comfortable asking for the signature. You can imagine you're a sales professional and you're not comfortable asking the client to make a decision. So we talk a little bit about some skill building scripts and using winning words. How do we use winning words as it relates in a selling conversation, and how we can, with skill, turn that conversation to the client taking the next step in the process. We'll talk a little bit about the one-on-one objection handling, and then we'll take a quick look at talking smart. Here's what we know, and here's what is true as it relates to real estate sales, is that there's a direct relationship between our ability to contact people and closing deals in the end. There's a direct relationship between the two, and how consistently and how consistent and frequent we are with that, with having those conversations lead to the success that we want to see in our real estate business. This mini productivity boot camp is really designed to generate measurable results in as little as 32 days. I'm sort of an impatient person. And so if money isn't showing up or a transaction isn't showing up, I don't like to sit back and wait for a transaction, for business, for money, for et cetera to show up. I don't know if you're the same, but let's make it happen. Let's do whatever we need to do to make this transaction or to move forward in this sales process. So over the next 4 weeks, and I'm going to you'll get a copy of this as well. Over the next 4 weeks, we'll go focus on what you will become. Today, we'll talk a little bit about what you will become. TOT stands for time on task, how to focus, and then we'll look at the weekly Make It Happen. Next week, we'll start with the weekly Make It Happen. That's the business tracking sheet. We'll start with the Make It Happen. We'll talk a little bit about objection handling. I'll give you at least one strategy on how to handle an objection. And then we'll talk about working with motivated sellers and how to identify motivated sellers. And then week 3, we'll look at social media. There are many social media platforms that we can take advantage of. But for realtors, what are the most effective and how can we use those? We'll talk about that a little bit more on winning words. And then time blocking. If it isn't scheduled, it may not happen. Right? So let's set up a schedule. When we set up this schedule that goes to week 4, and week 4 is having a winning routine. What does a winning routine look like? Top producers across the country, when we interview, we get information, we look at how they're being top producers, there's a consistency that we find among top producers. And one of the consistencies that we found among top producers is that top producers, they have a routine to their business. They have a routine, whether the routine is I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the gym, I'm on the treadmill for 30 minutes, I'm taking the kids to school at 8 o'clock, whatever it is, there's a routine that they have. And so in week 4, we'll talk about ideas for you to create a winning routine for your real estate business, whether it's a routine that that's based upon you working full-time in real estate or part-time in real estate. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we need to have some level of consistency and routine in our real estate business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, cool. So let me just open up the weekly Make It Happen sheet so we can look at the type of activity that we're going to be tracking. And I say we, but it's primarily you're doing it. But I'm saying we, as a group, the type of activities that lead to success in real estate. So let me just share this document with you. You should be able to see it momentarily. You should be able to see it. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is a high intense productivity sheet. It's something that I personally use anytime I want to really focus in on my real estate business. I do a lot. I do real estate. I sell real estate. I work with investors. I do coaching. I do business development. And so my time is limited in terms of how I work, when I work in real estate. So anytime I want to focus in and get laser beam focused on real estate, this is the sheet that I use. And it's pretty self-explanatory. You'll see the different categories, expired listings, for sale by owner, door knocking or hanging flyers on doors. These are income producing activities, follow-up phone calls, referrals. Are you referring business out? Is business being referred into you? Tracking our face-to-face conversation with our sphere, face-to-face conversation with people that we already know, family members, in-laws and outlaws, right? Having these conversations. How many phone calls and our personal notes did we make to the people that we already have a relationship with? Your sphere of influence could be family members, it could be friends, it could be coworkers, it could be people at church. Having a conversation, with the people at church, and having these conversations and/or reaching out to them with a special note, a handwritten note, just, hey, I was thinking of you. Hey, I saw this article, saw this inspirational quote or phrase, thought about you, and hope you're having a great day. Little things like that we are doing, and it's done strategically. Of course, we genuinely care about connecting with people, but it's also, there's a strategy to it, and that strategy is to be top of mind in our sphere of influence, our family members, friends, and coworkers as relates to real estate. Because in real estate, we have to carve out mind share first before we get market share. We have to be top of mind in the mind of the people that are in our database first. That's called mind share. Have to have mind share, and then we'll get market share. And here's the second part of the sheet is now we're planning the amount of time that we're going to work in our business. How many hours do we plan on prospecting? How many hours on marketing? How many hours do we spend on negotiating? Did we go on listing appointments? Did I role play or practice any scripts so we can write this down? Did I take any educational classes or courses? That will be under educational hours, right? And then you just total everything up. And this becomes a real quick look at the business at my business, at our business activity week to week. And what you find in this, by doing this, carving out time and disciplining ourselves to sit down and track this, in about 3 to 4 weeks, it'll become it'll start becoming a habit. When I mentioned top producers, one of the things, when I mentioned the routine of top producers, one of the routines of top producers is that they know their business activities. So we are going to know our business activity. We're going to know who we're talking to. We're going to know how long we've talked to them. So again, you look at this, and at the top here in this gray shaded box, it has the week of. You can write in or type in. You're going to get the digital copy of this. So if you want to, it's a Word document. So if you want to type on Word, some people print it out and write in it, but you want to write the week of whatever the week is, and then contacts made. What do you plan? How many planned contacts to either of these categories? And then on the next call on next Friday at 9 o'clock, we start with this sheet. So we say, okay, how many planned calls to expires? How many did you actually do? Did you get any receipt? Did you get any leads as a result of that time? Okay, so this is what we refer to as the weekly Make It Happen. Any questions so far? So I will leave you with this. Our income and our outcome is greatly determined by what we become. Think about that. Our income and our outcome will be greatly determined by whatever we become. What does that mean? Our world, our life today is the sum total of whatever we thought, whatever we felt, and whatever we did. Right? Our life today, when we look at our life today, we look at where our business is today. Our business today is where it is because of what we thought, what we felt, and however we acted. So the income that we generate, and I'm talking specifically real estate now, the income that we generate and the outcome of our business, outcome meaning taking our businesses to the next level, it will be directly impacted by whatever we decide to become. Whatever we decide to become, that is what will greatly determine the income level and the outcome level of our businesses. So that's a mindset. That's a mindset to embrace. I am committed to becoming blank. Right? And it blank is whatever you want, whatever blank means to you, you fill in the blank. I am committed to becoming blank. Once we fill in that blank, now we only do the things that support it. All right, so we only do the things that support it, the things that are supporting whatever it is that we're decided to become, because we are crafted and genetically designed to advance. Right? Any questions about that before we end this call today?
Nope.
Okay, great. So I'm going to email you the PDF version of the PowerPoint that I just showed you. And I'm going to send you a follow-up email, and in that email is going to be the weekly Make It Happen and some support videos, just supporting some of the things that we talked about on this call, okay?
Awesome. Thanks so much. Sorry I couldn't be as talkative as I normally.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.